Lads, welcome back to Fusion YGO. I took a small break because I needed to recharge my... who am I kidding? I was waiting on cards. But today, we're going to be bringing you a very fun deck profile. You could say it's... underworldly? That was terrible. Look, we're bringing back the dead. We're doing Zombie World Eldlich. Who am I kidding? But we're doing something different. We've shaken up the way we're going to be doing deck profiles. So I hope you enjoy. And if you did, make sure to leave a like. Comment, let me know what you like about it. And if you don't like the way the formatting is done, let me know in the comment section below. But we're trying to make it a little bit more aesthetic. So I hope you enjoy. And without further ado, let's dig right into this deck profile, shall we? Alright, starting out this Zombie World Eldlich deck profile, we've got 3 copies of Unizombie. This card starts everything off, it empties our hand, it empties our deck, it gets everything going. Unizombie is just incredibly important. The next up is going to be 2 copies of Necro World Banshee. Banshee is your activating of Zombie World from deck. Really important, it kind of makes the entire deck go. Zombie World is what this deck revolves around. We're running 1 copy of Doom King Ballardrock. Ballardrock is a negation and a banishment. That's insane. And it's a free, easy summon if you have Zombie World out, which, I mean, is kind of the point of Zombie World Eldlich. And last but not least is 1 copy of Glow Up Bloom, which will let you summon either that or another card that's going to be in later in the deck, Eldlich. Can summon that out from the deck as well. It can also add them to your hand, which can be really good for Eldlich. Instead of summoning it, you can add it to your hand and then send a card on the field to the graveyard. Pretty good. And then the 2 copies of Zombie World to round out the zombie package that we are running. Zombie World, turning everything into zombies, can shut off so many decks. This card is just an incredible card depending on the matchup. So let's go ahead and let's move on to the Eldlich package, shall we? So for the Eldlich package, we've got 2 copies of Eldlich, the Golden Lord. DJ Eldlich, as I so aptly call him. DJ Eldlich will discard, send a card on the field to the graveyard. With zombies, it's pretty good because you just discard it with a spell or trap, and a lot of the deck is spells and traps. There's not a lot of monsters. So what this allows you to do is get resources out of your hand that you don't need, and freely get rid of things on the field. It helps you with breaking boards and controlling game state. We'll pair that with 3 copies of Cursed Eldland. Eldland is just incredible. Pay 800 to search and, dump when sent. Pretty good. Good stuff. We've got 1 copy of each of the Spell Destinies. So we've got White and Black, White Destiny and Black Awakening. Summons from hand or graveyard. Summons from deck or hand. It's really good. They're able to get you more advantage with getting you golden land cards from the deck. 3 copies of Eldlich of Scarlet Sanguine. You've got to play it at 3. It's just too good not to play. And then you're able to banish it to set a golden land spell or trap. 3 copies of Conquistador. Being able to pop a card on the field is pretty good. And when it's in the graveyard during the end phase, you can banish it to set an Eldlich. Pretty good. Triple copies of Huaquero. Huaquero is your banisher. I like to banish cards. It's really good in any format. So being able to banish stuff is really nice. And the fact that it's an 1800 attack point booty can actually matter depending on the game state. And both of these become level 5s, which is important later. And that's going to do it for the Eldlich package. Now we're going to move on to the generic cards. Blossom and Joyous Spring. You gotta run 3 of it. It's a zombie which triggers Biolodrox effect, being able to banish cards and negate an effect. Really useful. And it stops everything, so it's just a nice generic hand trap. 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. It's a draw 2. Your extra deck is important, but not the most important thing in the game, so like, this is nice. Triple copies of Super Polymerization. This is protagonist levels of Nuisancery. You'll see why it's really nice in a bit. 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. Getting rid of back. You are the control deck. Just feather dust them away. 1 called by. I don't like other decks playing, so I'm going to stop them. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. It's the only common card in this deck, and it bothers me. I just don't have one in a higher rarity, so this is what we got. But Foolish gets everything started. And then 3 copies of Ice Dragon's Prison. With Zombie World on the field, you can get rid of whatever you want. It's super nice. Alright, so that's going to do it for the main deck. Why don't we jump into the extra deck, and then hit the side deck, and then we'll go with the final thoughts. Shall we? We start this extra deck off with 2 copies of Eldlich the Mad Golden Lord. This card is crazy good. It can do so many things. Stealing cards, summoning itself, it counts as Eldlich in the graveyard. Like, this card's insane. It's so good. And with Zombie World on the field, you can super poly with your opponent's cards. So if they summon a level 5 or higher monster, Zombie World's on the field, you just super poly, you yeet their card right out the gate. And then you've got an Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord, on the field, and they're gonna cry. It's super good. We pair that with 2 copies of Draco Necro Nether Soil Dragon. I can't pronounce cards. It basically just uses 2 zombie monsters. It's a way to clear boards. Super poly with Zombie World means you win. That's all. I don't use it for anything other than that. It's got a big booty. It's 3,000 attack. It's nothing to scoff at. So you can cheese out games with it out of nowhere. And because both of these monsters are over the level 7 or higher, it's going to matter soon. To work off of our fascination of level 5s, we've got 1 Constellar Pleiades. This card just gets rid of things. 1 Super Dreadnought Cannon Gustav Max. Burning for 2k can win games. And then 1 copy of Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder! Zeus is Zeus. It nukes fields. The card's incredible. You should absolutely run it if you're playing Xyz monsters and can afford it. 1 copy of Link Karibo. Link Karibo is a level 1. It gets... So if you open Glow Up Bloom, this just gives you a way out. Same with this card, Relinquished Anima. It's a way to use Glow Up Bloom in a positive and reinforcing way. And it's a good board breaker. 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix. Deals with back row. You are the control deck. Control the game. 1 copy of Unicorn. Unicorn is great, just being able to yeet things out of existence is so good. 3 copies of Vampire Sucker. This card lets you draw cards. It's really versatile. Requires 2 zombies. You get to draw cards. You get to summon cards out of the graveyard. The card's just good. It's just a good card. Because you're playing a pure zombie strategy, it makes perfect sense that you play this card. And then the last card, because this card's insane, specifically in Eldlich, this card's just out of its mind. 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. If you can afford this card, which I understand if you can't, if you can afford this card will win you games. Handedly. Just, it's so powerful. Being able to gain permanent attack boosts, being unaffected by other card effects, by your opponent's card effects, being able to attack twice, banish cards, the card's nuts. And it starts as a 3k beat stick. Like, card's great. And it just requires 3 monsters with different names. That's it. This card's a very expensive card for a very good reason. And with that, we're going to jump into the side deck, and then we'll hit final thoughts. Welcome to the sideboard. Today we're going to be showing off what I'm currently running, but you can kind of change it up depending on your locals or wherever you're playing. I'm playing 2 copies of Artifact Lancia. Stopping people from being able to banish is nice. This card could come out and you could easily go for like a third next card, or you could make another couple of choices, but I chose Lancia because it's really good. 2 copies of Droll and Lockbird. Drill and Lickbird is just good against Drytron and is really good against most strategies that search a lot. Telling them no is always good. 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. I said this with Feather Duster. I said this with Phoenix. You are the control deck. Control. 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. Sometimes it is necessary to be able to break a board with Dark Ruler No More. To pair with Zombie World in a matchup where you need to stun, we are running 2 copies of Rivalry of Warlords. Stopping your opponent from summoning anything that isn't a zombie is really rude. And you can freely do it because with Vampire Sucker, you summon a card out of their graveyard, now they can't summon. I like winning. 3 copies of Solemn Strike to round it out. If I'm stuck in a position where I know I'm going to be going first, or if I know I'm going first or whatever, I'm able to side in a very powerful and generic trap card, which is always a good thing. That's going to do it for this deck. So let's cut it over to talk about final thoughts. And that, ladies, gentlemen, and all of those in between, is Zombie World Eldlich. This deck is super fun. You are able to do a lot of things that most decks can't deal with, and even if they can, you don't care, because you can gain advantage and do it again. You're able to play cards that most decks can't, and you're able to control the game state in a way that really hinders your opponent's ability to play the game. I have had a lot of fun with this deck, and I'm still tinkering with the side deck, and the side deck, like always, is always up to your personal interpretation, but it's what I found works for me so far. That being said, you can absolutely change it, throw it away, whatever. Use this deck as a guideline. See if you can find a way to make your opponents want to start digging some graves. And until next time, lads, good fun. Have luck.